All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Central Valley Business on CentralValleyTalk.com. Hope you're doing well today. I'm Mike Scott, joined right now by one of our regular guests, Albert Rivera from CD Simonian Insurance. Albert, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Scott. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right.
You want to talk about car insurance today?
Yeah, absolutely.
What don't folks know about car insurance that they should know?
Park car coverage. Have you ever heard of that?
Coverage.
Well, let me ask you this. You know, you park your car, you go to work, car's parked, you come out of your office, you get there and you notice that someone hit your car. Well, you have nothing to go by, you have no witnesses, you have no evidence of who hit your car. Well, normally, if you want your car fixed, as long as you have comp and collision on your policy, the insurance company will fix it, but you're still subject to your deductible. Now, there are many insurance carriers out there that they can add what's called park car coverage. So if that happens to you, they'll fix your car and they waive the deductible. So that's something nice to have. Okay. Another type of coverage that most people miss is glass coverage. You know, what happens if you're going down the freeway and a little rock, just dings you? Okay. Well, most people say, well, I've got a $500 comprehensive deductible. Well, check with your insurance company, because most companies nowadays, if they can fix that, call like Safe Light, that they come out and they just fix and they repair it. Most insurance companies will do it and they'll waive any deductibles. So that's a nice thing to
And it won't affect your insurance rate?
No, it won't. No, it won't. And many insurance companies, they're doing that because it's a lot cheaper for them to go and pay for a Safe Light to come out and repair your windshield than to have to replace it. So many insurance companies are taking a proactive approach on that. So that's cool.
How many car windows are worth more than $500?
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Really?
My sister-in-law's Lexus, she had a little rock and it dinged her windshield. I told her, get it taken care of. Well, she didn't. So last year, in one of the beautiful hot summer days we have here in Fresno, that little ding just ran and it just cracked her entire windshield. Well, those Lexus windshields are $1,300.
What?
Yeah. And, the reason is because it's an expensive car, and they have the sensors that, it senses one drop and the wipers automatically, activate. So those are very expensive windshields.
You can't put a cheaper replacement window in there?
Nobody wants to do that, You got a
Well, I would.
Well, you got a $40,000 Lexus, They don't want to go to pick apart and get a, So those are just a few things that you want to look into.
Listen,
as well.
If you can afford a $40,000 Lexus, you can afford a $1,200 window.
That is true. That is true. That is true. Another thing is when it comes down to the value of your vehicle. I was just talking to a gentleman last week. I came across him through a friend, and he was really upset because he had his insurance with one of the local agencies, and he ended up investing some major dollars in some new stereo equipment, and he fixed up his car. Well, he added like $35,000 of equipment to his vehicle. Well, his car got vandalized, and he was shocked to learn of what was not covered. And I had to explain to him, I go, well, you added value to your vehicle if you insure your vehicle for the proper way, and there's several ways of doing that. Many insurance policies out there will allow you to add additional coverages for stereo equipment or any type of aftermarket things that you've done to your vehicle. You do have policies that will go by what's called stated amount. Your average car, if you look at the Kelley Blue Book, it tells you a value of that car, the year, make and model,
right,
and the mileage and the condition. But what happens if you modified that car? You did a really expensive upholstery job, paint job, some expensive wheels. Well, now that car is valued at a certain amount. Well, you do have policies that they will go by that amount. They say, well, I want to insure this vehicle at what's called a stated amount, and this stated amount is $30,000. Now, if you go up to a certain type of value of the vehicles, like someone says, well, I've done a complete custom job and this is a $70,000, $80,000 vehicle. Well, they'll insure it based on that as long as you have an appraisal showing proof that that vehicle is valued at that amount.
But you're going to pay more for your policy,
exactly,
right?
Exactly. But here's the thing. if you have a total loss, if something gets damaged, stolen, or it gets totaled in an accident, then you'll get compensated properly. Because again, it's very sad when someone has that type of loss and they expect to be compensated, and it's not because it's the insurance company's fault, it's just that it was not insured properly. And I cannot stress this enough. That's why it's so important to, on a regular basis, review your coverages, your policies, and you have questions, just contact your insurance agent just to make sure. That way when you come across a claim, you don't come across those unpleasant surprises.
Yeah. When I get my insurance bill, I mean, it lists all these different things that I'm charged for. I don't know what any of them mean.
And most
That's
people
why you
don't.
need an agent, right?
Exactly. That's right. That's right. But again, the agent wants to have that proactive approach of contacting the insured. Because we talked about this last time I was here, and you even mentioned, you said, well, if my agent contacted me, I would be more than happy to listen and to go over the coverages. And I think that that's a very important job that the agent has to do, to make sure that he reviews the insurance policies and just check up with the client. And when we do that, we're amazed at when we find out the changes that they've made or new things that they've attached to their vehicles or new property that they have, and we're the last ones to find out.
Yeah.
And the insurance company has no problem replacing that as long as it's insured properly and the person is paying the proper premium for the proper coverage. And it's fair.
I bet a lot of people are afraid that if they call their agent and try to discuss their coverage, they're afraid that the agent will try to upsell them or sell them things on their policy that they really don't need.
And that's a valid point, But as the consumer, you still have the final word. As a consumer, you can say, you know what, I'm not interested in that. Or you can say, well, look, what you're telling me, can you explain this to me a little bit better? And if the agent knows what he's talking about, he can give them maybe a few scenarios that the insured then says, okay, I get it. Well, you know what? I'm not really interested in that. No problem.
Or they might say, yes, I want that.
Yeah, they might say, well, I never thought of that scenario. I never thought that can happen in my case. Well, how much is it going to cost? And they're actually shocked when they learn, is that it? It doesn't cost that much to add those additional coverages.
Why isn't it just one? I want to insure my car. Give me one price. Why does it need to be 14 different ways it's broken down?
Well, because insurance companies, if I quote your autos with 20 different insurance companies, I'm going to come back with 20 different rates.
Right.
And that's just the nature of the beast. It's because every insurance company has different criteria on their pricing. Some of it has to do with prior experiences that they have had in the particular market of insuring vehicles in a particular neighborhood and so on. And because of that, it just affects the premium. And again, we would love to be able to just get the same price from everybody, but it's just
doesn't work that way.
It's just not going to happen. Now, when people call us, I tell them, look, I'm not going to guarantee you that I have the very lowest price out there. I can guarantee you the lowest price that I have available to our agency, but I can also guarantee you the type of service that you're going to get from us. That's one thing I can do.
And service is definitely worth a lot.
Absolutely.
To me. All right, Albert Rivera from CD Simonian Insurance. How do folks reach you?
559-834-5333. And they can also visit our website, www.cdsimonian.com.
Albert, good seeing you as always.
As always. Thank you, sir.
And we will be back with more on Central Valley Talk.